All right, listen up. I'm going to break this down for you guys so you can understand what went on and why we are in some of the situations that we are in today. And I'm going to have to take you back a couple years. So follow along. I'm going to talk a little fast. I'm going to talk clear, but I'm going to make this quick. So I had a best friend, person I considered family. Met this person in 1999, became friends later, shortly after, worked for his company, helped him sell his company, DJ'd his wedding, was there for the birth of both of his children, the death of his parents. Like, we were close, right? Spent holidays together for nearly 20 years. So when this person bought a gym in 2017, I was a little shocked, but I was like, hey, I'm clapping for you, do your thing. How can I help? Coincidentally, he was trying to give me advice while I was in LA, and I had a pretty good career going at the time, training clients at several different gyms in LA, had a pretty good roster of clients, and I thought I was doing fairly well. So I noticed that he was having some trouble via Instagram and a couple of conversations that we had via text and over the phone. And then he made a quick trip visit to LA in 2018, I think around March or April. We had lunch. We had some discussions about the business. He told me some things that were going on. And I'm like, yo, man, you got to fix that. That doesn't sound right. So in a roundabout way, he offered, for me to come out to Arizona to help him out with his gym, which is an old title gym that he basically took over that was left abandoned from the old franchisees. So I was like, listen, man, I can give you about a month. I'll come back. I'll take a look at what's going on. I'll see if I can help you out. If you have a manager that's working there, you got some trainers, then there's obviously a business that's salvageable and there's an opportunity there. So I came out in June of 2018. I worked in the gym every day, kind of observing, looking around, taking some classes, taking some notes. And after a month, I sat down with him and I was like, yo, man, these are the things that you need to change. It seems like you have a solid staff, but no one's really running the gym. No one's looking at the goals. No one's working on, core values or KPIs or any of that stuff. And honestly, I was new to that whole aspect of the business. And I was kind of flying blind in a sense where I had not done this before, but it was obvious that I had more information than what was available to him already. So, he offered me a percentage of the gym, partnership per se, and come on, run the gym, help me out. So I said, yes, of course. This was a person who I've known 20 years, spent a lot of time with, have helped grow other companies and sell other companies successful. So I thought this might be a great opportunity. And then if I could get this working successfully, I could go back to LA and open my own gym, which is what I had planned on doing anyway. So after about a month, we sat down, we talked. I'm like, dude, you got to fix this, this, and this. We got to get rid of this person. We need this person. Let's do it. And we did a lot of it. Now, mind you, this person is one of those people who, if it's not his idea, it's not an idea. If it's not successful right off the bat, he's going to let you know. If it's his idea and it's not successful, then you probably didn't execute it correctly. So you have to deal with a lot of that. And I did. But from 2018 to 2019, we were able to increase the business by like 300%. And when I tell you in 2018, when I got here, these guys were barely paying their bills. And he was taking money out of his pocket in order to do that. So by time 2019 comes around and I look at the invoices and I look at the monthly revenue and I'm like, okay, we're doing fine. We can pay the bills. We can pay the employees. We can buy some merch. We can keep things going. Like, we're on a good track here. Now, I was aware in 2018 and part of 2019 that he was behind on rent. Wasn't really clear how much because I was not in control of the bank account. I could see how much we made every day, but I didn't know what was coming out of the bank account aside from what the business expenses were. So fast forward to 2020, obviously the pandemic comes, things happen. We shut down April, May, open in June, acquire a new trainer, supposed to come in and bring a bunch of clients. Didn't really work out that way. And lo and behold, September 25th, 26th of 2020, the doors on the gym are locked. It's a shock to me. I don't know why. I'm thinking everything is happening correctly. I thought the bills were being paid because we were making money. Regardless of the pandemic stuff, we still had enough money to pay the rent. So I know because the partner told me that he was filing for PPP assistance, but had been denied. And at some point, I started getting these emails from these PPP loan companies and referring them to him, just forwarding them on. I was running the business. I wasn't doing the PPP stuff. So when the doors got locked in September of 2020, I was able to scrounge up the funds that I had, scrounge up some funds from a great angel investor, and we went right to the landlord. Now, this might sound like I'm going behind my friend's back, but truthfully, is I told him, listen, bro, like you obviously can't handle this. You're not handling it. I'm going to do this. We need to work out a deal for you to settle up or, pay me back for whatever the expenses that I incur here so that we can keep this gym going because we have a viable business now. So pay the landlords to get the doors back open. I acquire an assignment of the lease from the actual leaseholder, who was basically a silent investor. He had no real say-so in the gym. He would come in and take classes from time to time and bring his friends through, that kind of thing. So when the gym finally reopened, October 1st, 2020, I began running the gym and taking over. His name and titles and stuff were still on a lot of the paperwork. The bank account up until November, it was still on the corporate paperwork. He had, the APS and the Cox and all the stuff in his, what I consider an imaginary LLC, but it was there. So it took some time to get all of that stuff, transferred over. But I will tell you that there were a considerable amount of unpaid bills when I took over operations of the gym, October 2020. So him and I had discussions back and forth. There were some expenses that I paid that he said he would pay me back for. I was like, listen, just give me that money so I continue working, the gym and get the thing moving. He assured me, oh, I'll pay you, I promise, blah, 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 blah. Never happened, never happened, never happened. Fast forward to 2021, around March or April, I'm really kind of hounding in on this. Yo, it's been months, dude. I put money out. You said you would pay. You didn't help. You haven't been helping. You're asking me to do all these favors and let these people train in the gym. And I'm like, no, you need to pay the bills, bro. Like, you need to man up and pay the gym. Like, stop spending money on buying new trucks and Yeezys and showing everybody your rings and everything like that. Like, let's talk about business. This obviously didn't happen, but he did present me with an asset purchase agreement for the gym in April, and basically gave it to a lawyer, redlined the shit out of it, and sent it back. We went back and forth for a couple months through text messages and email, and I'm like, I'm not signing that thing. Eventually, he, sent me a text message saying, I didn't agree to anything that's in that asset purchase agreement. I don't do business that way. I'm upset with your attitude, blah, 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 blah. You're going to lose, one of the only trainers that has clients, yada, yada, yada. Just basically deflecting, not taking any accountability for his role in what was going on. And at all of this time, basically, up until April of 2021, I was living in his guest house. So when I moved out of his guest house, April, May, moved into my own apartment. Around August, I got a notification from the SBA, a bank located out of Jersey, that said, hey, you got a PPP loan. We'd like to know how you'd like to pay this back. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I did some investigation. I went back through a bunch of old emails, and I found an email that I had forwarded to him. I never opened it at the time because, like I told you, I wasn't doing the PPP stuff. He was handling that. And it said, hey, congratulations, you got a PPP loan for $63,725 or something like that, back in June of 2020. Now, you guys have maybe watched some of the story or have seen me posting this story on my Instagram, and it's on YouTube, so you can watch it and just kind of get an idea of what was going on. But basically, I was alerted in August, September of 2021 that back in 2020, this guy got $63,000 in PPP money. What I did not know is when I looked at that paperwork, my name is on the paperwork. Not only is my name on the paperwork, it's his business LLC, EIN, and his business bank account, neither of which I am a member or signer of. So this paperwork, clearly fraudulent, using my name as the business owner, which I wasn't, especially under the Pound LLC, because that wasn't my LLC. He got all this money and proceeded to just, I don't know, live his life. Meanwhile, June 2020, business does business. July, we do business. September, August, we do business. September, we do business. But he doesn't pay any of the bills. None of the bills. That's why they closed the doors on the 25th of September 2020. So this is a shock to me. A year later, I found out that this guy got a PPP loan. So I'm like, what the? Anyways, so I proceed to call the SBA to make sure that I'm not on the hook for this personally. I report it. I file it. They tell me to call Scottsdale PD. I recall them. I file with them, but they basically told me that there's nothing they can do. And the police report I got from them was actually laughable, considering the SBA told me I should call them. And then when I did call them, they acted disinterested. And then once they did an investigation, they basically called him, said, hey, do you know about this PPP loan? And he was like, oh, he knew about the PPP loan. And all the money went to the gym. And the police basically said, okay, that's cool, bye, click. That was the end of their investigation. So meanwhile, here we are almost 2 years later. It's 2 years to the day, basically, that the Channel 3 story ran, which is why I've been running the story every day so you guys know about it. But it's basically 2 years to the day and still nothing has been resolved. Well, except for the civil lawsuit. But we'll get back to that later. So basically what I wanted to let you guys know that this is just part one of the story. And I will break it down into more detail later. But for now, that's where we're going to end this. But thanks for coming to my TED Talk.